The heat wave is finally over, and I'm gonna give myself an F, maybe a D if I'm lucky, on how I handled that 100-degree heat wave. My body did not appreciate what I put it through, and several of my electronics also suffered on that trip. And so in today's video, what I want to do is share what went wrong with me riding my Goldwing in a heat wave, and also what failed as far as my electronics go. And number one on that trip, the high was 99 degrees Fahrenheit and the real feel was 107 degrees Fahrenheit. So with my black mesh jacket, boots, gloves, full-faced black helmet, and of course riding pants that are essentially Kevlar lined, they're sliders pants, all of this gear combined put my body in an oven. And I thought the mesh jacket would handle a little better, but where I really struggled was in those situations where I'm sitting at a stoplight and my body is just baking in the sunlight. So those situations were definitely hurting me. And I started that day with a pretty simple plan. Every time I stopped, I was gonna get a bottle of water, and it honestly was not enough. I never really felt sweaty, but I have all of this air pulling all the moisture off of my body. So I didn't really think I was losing as much moisture as I actually was. By the end of that trip, we're talking 4 or 5 in the afternoon, I was severely dehydrated. I didn't realize it. And I stopped and drank some water, but it was almost like too little too late. And where I really paid the price was the next day. My legs were feeling a little cramped and weak, and it was just very difficult to recover. And that heat wave lasted 4 days. Over the course of those 4 days, I put almost 1,200 miles on my Goldwing. Day one, 450 miles. That was the most damaging to my body. Lots of traveling, and I never really caught up from the dehydration. But today is day 6, and I have had plenty to drink. I have relaxed, and I have one trick that I learned when I stopped at the Cycle Gear store here in Louisville. I left that store and tried that trick, and it reduced my body temperature significantly. As soon as I stop to get gas, I will pull that out and I will show you exactly how it works. So today I have a 450 mile return trip. I think I'm about 30 miles in already, and I absolutely could not have had a better time than the time that I had on this exact motorcycle. The best part about today, I'm gonna have the sun on my back the whole time. I'm not gonna have it in my eyes bothering me, and that alone is going to be an amazing experience. Woo! Almost caught that crow. And there's that sun behind us. Beautiful sun peeking out. Today should be a beautiful day. Right now it's 73 degrees Fahrenheit, and I want to say the high is supposed to be in the 80s. The only thing I have to worry about on today's trip is scattered thunderstorms. I've got my rain suit in the saddlebag, and in all honesty, if it's just gonna rain a little bit, I'm just gonna roll through it and let my body get soaked up and enjoy the cool air. Woo! Not super dangerous, but definitely something I don't want to hit. I do not like the speed in construction zones in particular, because it's actually one of the most dangerous things you can do for the workers. But that barrel base, I wonder if I would have hit it if I would have gotten a little bit of air. I've got about 50 miles remaining on this tank, but soon here I'm going to cross over into Illinois. And one thing I don't want to do in Illinois is have a low gas tank, because it is wide open terrain. Right now I'm in the Hoosier, national forest here in Indiana, and you've got these beautiful trees all around me. So let's stop in Linville, Indiana, see if we can get a full tank of gas and maybe something to sip on. And guys, it is not a toss-up here. I'm gonna choose Casey's over the Marathon almost any day. Nothing makes me more self-conscious than filming at a gas station or talking to myself, as some people might think when they walk by, drinking a Monster Energy drink. But that trick that Steve over at Cycle Gear in Louisville showed me, as I was checking out, I was buying this shirt right here because my original plan was to downgrade my jacket and just go to the t-shirt, the long sleeve t-shirt. This is like a dirt bike shirt. No protection at all on the interstate. But he recommended that I buy this right here, Axial, and this is a neck gaiter. You put it on like that, but first you soak it in water. And when you soak it in water, this thing's gonna hold the water for about an hour. And as you go down the road, that moisture and the wind is gonna lower your body temperature by about 10 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's definitely a good trick to help keep yourself cool on those seriously hot days. I highly recommend it. And in fact, I recommend, if it's hot enough, just go into a restroom somewhere, maybe at one of these gas stations, soak your shirt, maybe even your jacket, and between the neck gaiter, the wet shirt, all this kind of stuff, you can still maintain that full body protection, your armored jacket with abrasion resistance, while also maintaining a very decent body temperature. So that was problem number one. I overheated, but a couple of my electronic devices did not perform as well as I had hoped, or as well as I expected in those high temperatures. I rely on my cell phone for navigation, and in fact, this model of Goldwing does not come with factory navigation. It relies on the connection to your phone. Well, my phone, especially this model with the airbag, my phone connection's in my trunk. And so with my phone in my trunk on a 100-degree day, this trunk got blazing hot inside. My phone stopped charging. It never stopped working, luckily, but while I'm navigating, I'm burning through a lot of battery. So if I'm not charging, my phone was depleting rapidly. I stopped and I got some cold water bottles from the cooler at the gas station, and I put my phone on those water bottles, and that allowed it to start charging again. Since I started this trip, I bought a cooler that's behind me. I've got some ice packs that are frozen, and when the temperature gets warmer later, and over the last few days, I would actually just put my phone plugged in the cooler and let that keep it cool so that it continued to charge while I navigated. That solved that problem completely. We got a plane. Well, I guess I drank that Monster a little too quickly. I'm not hauling a trailer, so I'll go ahead and use the car entrance. Park right here in the sun, in the shade. So my phone wasn't the only thing that failed me on that trip, and The second thing that failed me was that Cena ANC Bluetooth helmet. And the reason that was more annoying was it started either overheating. So I have two ideas of what it could be. But first, let me go get my hands washed, and then I'm gonna sit at this bench and I'll tell you about it. The speakers, in particular the left speaker, started to kind of crackle as if I blew it. Like back when you used to blow a speaker in your car or something, if you had too strong of an amplifier, it had that crackling sound. My initial response was, hey, maybe there's a blown speaker or something like that. But what it turns out is it either overheated, hey, there's a lot of heat out there, or what I think now is just the amount of sweat from my head. I wasn't really feeling the sweat, but when I would take off my helmet, I could feel the moisture in the cheek pads. That moisture was getting inside the capsules for the noise cancellation, and that was causing some kind of feedback loop where the helmet just started crackling. Since that main time and then one other time, I haven't had that same problem. So today the high is going to be somewhere around 85. And if I have that problem again, I am going to see if the helmet is wet or if it truly is just overheated. Next stop is a little bit of a surprise. It's not a surprise. I'll go ahead and spoil it right now. I actually found on Facebook Marketplace another one of these jackets, this exact jacket that I'm wearing right now. But the difference is it's going to be a worker, a construction, a neon yellow or green, and it's only $30. Super excited for that. I wrote the young lady and said, hey, I'm passing through on my motorcycle. I'll be arriving anywhere between 9 a.m. and noon. Can you set it on the porch and I'll come by, drop off the money and pick it up? She's gonna oblige, so I'm gonna go buy that jacket. One of my only true worries on the motorcycle, especially on the roads, the kinds of roads that I traverse, is animals. In this case, a deer just walked up to the edge of the road. The cars here really didn't even slow down, but I immediately wanted to hit my hazards and figure out what that deer was going to do, because I'm not going to pass it 20 feet away going 75 miles an hour. I slowed down just enough and it turned away and it bolted, so it wasn't a problem. But although I have the airbag model and I trust the bike quite a bit, I absolutely do not want to strike a deer while I'm out here in the middle of nowhere. Time for a little detour to see if I can get that jacket. I love these traffic circles because I can get low on the Goldwing. Oh, wild, 2 roundabouts in a row. What you doing here, Illinois? That's pretty cool. Loving it. Gravel road. This place, not bad. Get my cash out. Okay. Oh, get the liner too. Perfect. Got all the armor. Not bad. Back on the road, ladies and gentlemen. Next stop, well, one, I absolutely need to get some gas. Gas is much more expensive in Illinois, so I've got 62 miles to empty. I'm gonna try to make it back to across the state line into Missouri, where I think gas is like almost $1 per gallon cheaper. I've got 60 miles to find out. One more traffic circle just for the awesome experience. Let's get low. And get low on the other side. All right, next stop, let's get some gas, folks. Since I started this trip the first day, my butt was getting a little sore in the saddle here, but here I am 4 hours in. zero problems. I'm actually feeling really good. My shoulders from the Healy bars, definitely feeling good. Shoulders and elbows. On my way down on that first 455-mile day, I started to experience a little bit of flank pain, and that's really just because I'm not accustomed to long days in the saddle. But right now, I'm feeling pretty good. So I'm gonna bypass south of St. Louis, but there's the arch. I always love to see it, especially off there in the distance with the railroad tracks and all that kind of stuff. Quarry on the left, and I can see that arch one more time over there on my right. Check out this cable stay bridge. Welcome to Missouri and welcome to St. Louis. Let's get some gas. My lane to exit onto Interstate 44 was blocked for construction, so I'm on a little bit of a detour. Hopefully there's a gas station at this location. Got about 36 miles left until empty. Definitely more than I need, but I don't like the position I'm in right now. Going slow on the interstate in the exit. Wants me to go back on the interstate, guys. Did not expect that, but I guess it makes sense, and hopefully the interstate is not blocked again going the other way. Then I'll just be riding around in circles and I might actually run out of gas. Around 85 degrees Fahrenheit. I started to hear just a little bit of that crinkling noise in my left headphone. So I don't know if it's heat or sweat, because I'm starting to sweat a little and it is getting hotter. And so between those two things, I'm starting to experience that problem. Am I gonna stop at Wally's, guys? I feel like I'm like a mile from Wally's. Oh, and this is awesome. I'm literally at the exit. I'm a half mile or a mile away. 2 minutes from Wally's. It could not have worked out any better than this on this trip today. Absolutely amazing. And I've been so excited for the last hour or so that I almost forgot the last piece of technology that failed me on that extreme heat day. I'm starting to experience again with my helmet, but the one thing that I feel like I need most, other than my phone, let me get parked real quick, get some gas, and we will go over that last item. All right, there's a spot for me. 204 miles and 4.9 gallons. Since we are a little busy right now, let me go ahead and get out of the stalls, the gas stalls, find myself a place to park. Pretty good, how you doing? Awesome.
Is that all for you?
Yes, ma'am. All right, don't judge me too harshly. I almost never have these energy drinks, but I just happened to be on the road today, and they're quick and easy. They're a little faster than a hot cup of coffee, and that's why I do them. But this Van True F1 dash cam, if I have it on the maximum setting, so it has Ultra HD 4K in the front and then 1080p in the rear. When it got hotter, it was cutting out just a little bit. I lowered it to just regular 4K, and I haven't had that problem yet. The difference between Ultra HD and regular 4K is a little bit more flexibility when it comes to low light conditions. And if you do get into an accident, you'll also have a little more flexibility in being able to adjust the video so that you can see things, for example, a license plate. Regular 4K, you get what you get. You can try to maximize it a little bit, but Ultra HD gives you some ability to change the exposure, for example, and or contrast to maybe make out maybe about 10% more than what regular 4K can do. So I would rather be able to get that shot if I need it because the camera didn't overheat than to have the Ultra HD because ultimately what matters the most is being able to see what happened. If I experience any more shutdowns due to overheating, I'm going to lower that front camera to 1080, or just like Mac over there at Goldbrider 1, I might get a completely separate or an additional camera system and then run each one independently. That way I can ensure I have both angles. Final 2-hour stretch and I will be home. And what I want to do when I get home is check the oil, because on this bike I've got 58 miles. And thank you so much. The last time I checked the oil was actually at 4,200 miles. So what I want to see is, how does the oil look after another 1,500 miles? I honestly expect it to be perfect, but you never know. Maybe I burnt a little bit. My Goldwing has not missed a lick, and I'm at, 5,700 miles. And I've enjoyed every single one of them. I did moisten my neck gaiter here while I was at my stop, and it's actually cooling me enough that I don't feel like opening my windshield on my helmet right now. And I'm also not hearing the crackling in the noise cancellation. So this neck gaiter is cooling me. I've actually got a little bit of moisture on my chest here, and it's doing enough. Hey, I do not feel hot. I don't feel like I'm about to sweat. This will give me the opportunity to see, as it gets hotter throughout the day, if I maintain a cooler body temperature, will I get the crackling in my left ear in this Sena Bluetooth ANC helmet. If I do get the crackling, I'm gonna suspect that this helmet, especially because it's a black shell, overheats when it is exposed to high temperatures. All right, I've got about 2 minutes till I need to check the oil. I don't know if the engine will be too hot because I just came back from this massive road trip, and it is absolutely perfect. So no regrets. I've got that synthetic oil in there. And I really think the moral of the story for riding in a heat wave is just get prepared and make sure that you take care of your hydration.